All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to unpack our home planet. And look, you might think you know Earth pretty well, but we're about to see just how much of it is still a massive mystery, literally right under our feet. So let me just kick things off with a question for you. How much of our planet have we really seen? And I don't just mean the surface, the mountains and the oceans. I mean the whole thing. The answer? Well, it's probably not what you think. Get this, less than 1%. That's it. That's how much of Earth's total mass is in the crust, the part we live on. Everything we've ever known, every person, every place, all of it, exists on this paper-thin shell. The other 99+%, that's a vast, hidden world we've never seen. So let's go on a little journey, shall we? We're going to travel down, down, down. The best way to think about the Earth is like a giant onion. We're going to peel back the layers, one by one, until we get right to the very center. First up is the crust. This is our home turf. It's mostly made of stuff like oxygen and silicon, and it forms this thin, rocky shell that we all live on. It feels pretty solid and permanent, right? But in reality, it's just kind of floating on top of the next layer down. And that next layer is the mantle. Now, this is not solid rock. It's this super hot, semi-solid layer that flows like incredibly thick molasses, but, over millions of years. This slow, powerful churning is the engine that drives every earthquake and volcano we see up on the surface. Go even deeper, and you hit the outer core. And this part? It's absolutely crucial for us. It's a swirling, churning ocean of liquid iron and nickel. All that sloshing metal generates a massive magnetic field that wraps around our whole planet, protecting us from nasty solar radiation. Seriously, without it, life as we know it couldn't exist here. And finally, we've made it. The very center, the inner core. It's a solid ball of iron and nickel, and it's hotter than the surface of the sun. We're talking over 5,000 degrees Celsius. So you're probably wondering, wait a minute, how is it solid if it's that hot? Well, the pressure down there is so unbelievably intense that it literally crushes the atoms together, forcing them to be solid, no matter how hot it gets. Okay, so we've just taken this incredible virtual trip to the center of the Earth. But here comes the reality check. We've never actually been to any of these places, not even close. So the question is, how in the world do we know all of this stuff? Let's just ground ourselves for a second. Forget the core. How deep have we even managed to drill into the crust, the very first layer? What's your guess? The world record holder is a project called the Kola Super Deep Borehole. We managed to drill down 12.3 kilometers. And to give you some perspective, that's actually deeper than Mount Everest is tall. It's an amazing piece of engineering, but you're about to see it just how small that really is. Just look at this chart. That tiny little sliver, that's how far we've drilled. That giant bar next to it, that's the distance to the center. It means we've only gone about 0.2% of the way. We've barely scratched the surface. So this brings us right back to the big mystery, doesn't it? If our deepest hole is just a tiny pinprick, how on earth do we have this detailed map of the mantle, the liquid outer core, and the solid inner core? How did we figure all this out? Well, the answer is pretty clever. Scientists basically act like doctors giving the planet an ultrasound. They study the seismic waves from earthquakes. As these waves travel through the Earth, they speed up, slow down, or bend when they hit different layers, which lets us map what's down there. We also study magma from volcanoes and even meteorites, which we think are like leftover cosmic building blocks from when our solar system formed. And that whole idea of meteorites, that brings up an even bigger question. Okay, we know what Earth is made of, but where did all these ingredients, the iron, the silicon, the oxygen, where did they come from in the first place? To answer that, we have to zoom way, way out, from inner space to outer space. If you could somehow put the entire planet into a giant cosmic blender, this is basically the recipe you'd get. Mostly iron, oxygen, and silicon. These are the fundamental ingredients of our world. But here's the kicker. Earth didn't make any of them. It just collected them. Here's the mind-blowing part. Every single element that makes up our planet was created billions of years ago, long before Earth even existed. It was all forged in the super hot furnaces at the center of stars and then blasted across the universe when those stars exploded in giant supernovas. And this leads to one of the most incredible, most profound truths in all of science. The iron in our planet's core, the calcium in our bones, the carbon in our cells, it all came from those ancient exploded stars. You are literally made of stardust. Now let's take that huge cosmic story and bring it right back home. In fact, let's bring it right back to you. Because in a very real way, you and I are the final, most complex layer of planet Earth. Take a look at the elemental recipe for the human body. See any familiar ingredients? Oxygen, carbon, hydrogen? Yep, it's the same fundamental stuff. We are made of the exact same building blocks as the planet, just mixed together in different amounts. So, what's the difference between a rock and a person? It's not what we're made of, it's all about the arrangement, the complexity. A rock has a pretty simple fixed structure of atoms. A human takes those same basic elements and organizes them into these ridiculously complex systems, things like cells, organs, DNA, and a brain that can actually think about its own existence. And there's this really beautiful way to think about it. The raw materials of planet Earth, over billions of years, have organized themselves into a form that can observe the universe and understand its place in it. You are the planet that has become self-aware. So, we've journeyed from the core of the Earth, out to the stars, and right back to ourselves. But the story is far from over. I mean, despite everything we figured out, our planet is still packed with mysteries. There are so many unread chapters. And this just gives you a taste of how much is left to discover. It's wild, but we have better maps of the surface of Mars than we do of our own ocean floor. The exact conditions at the core are still up for debate, and we're just now discovering these huge ecosystems of microbial life miles beneath our feet. So what should you take away from all this? Well, our planet isn't just a rock we live on. It's this dynamic, mysterious, and deeply connected system. And honestly, we've only just begun to understand it. We are living inside a story that is still unfolding, a living book whose most exciting chapters might not even be written yet.